As you may have gathered from my channel, Basic Filmmaker, I always go in for the basics. When everybody's running around looking for all the complex things and why is this and this is all complex, I always drill it down to the very, very basics as best I can. I try and present those to you in hopes that they help. One of the things that people really fail to do and fall over all the time is the words, the concepts, the meanings of things when they're making films or when they're making videos or when they're doing YouTube channels or whatever. They just blaze on past these words without even knowing what the meaning is. Now, if you do that, you might as well just punch yourself in the head, because what happens is you encounter these words and you have these particular set of phenomena that can occur to you. You can get all anxious about stuff. You can go, oh, I don't like this anymore. You can go, oh, well, I've been trying to do this. And you just kind of give up on things. And one of the basic reasons, not all the reasons, but one of the basic reasons some people do that is because they don't understand the terms, the words of what they're trying to do. If you're trying to make videos and you don't understand what these basic words are, you're going to get buried. People are going to hit you with words. Okay, we're going to make a video. Good. Now you need to do this. You need to put it over there and extract that. You need to do this and you need to render that and you need to render this and you need to use H.264 and blah, 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 blah. You're just going to be overwhelmed with these words. The thing is you need to do, and you really need to keep in mind, is when you're going along in the beginning, when you're going along, somebody comes along and says, and you need to do it in H.264, don't blow past that. That is your key right at that moment where you stop and you go, all right, here's what I'm going to do. What is H.264? Well, it's some video thing. That's not the definition of H.264. H.264 is a method in rendering your videos which makes it easy for you to upload them to YouTube in 720, 1080, 4K, etc. It makes them easily assimilatable when you upload them to YouTube for them to use that format to render the video and to stick it out there for people to watch. You should know what that means. You should know that with all these words that you're doing. You're sitting there with your gear and all of a sudden you're looking and you go, I don't understand all this stuff, and you're trying to make these videos, you're just going to kill yourself off. For instance, all of us have gone through and tried to study something or learn something and may have given up. I guarantee you, if you take one of those, if you really want to learn it, and you go back and you start looking through the things that you had studied, in this case, filmmaking or YouTube or videos, and you just start paying attention to these words that just you don't quite understand or it just doesn't make sense. You go back and just make a list of those. What does H.264 mean? Then you watch the next video, or you watch one of my videos, or you're watching some filmmaking video or something like that, and somebody talks about render settings. Well, what are render settings? What are those all about? Or they start talking about these cameras and all the, like this camera up here, it's just like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different words. Like, what is white balance? Oh, well, I don't know. I just am supposed to set that. Find out what white balance is. There's plenty of videos out there talking about it. When you go through and you clear up or understand these words, what is white balance? How do I get my videos to look good? How do I get white correct? How do I get the right aperture? What is the aperture and what does that do when I'm making a video? And all these other words that you run across, make sure you go through and you find out what those words mean. In the beginning, you may be like, it's too much. Well, if you really want to do this thing called filmmaking or making YouTube videos or whatever, you should know what the words mean. It's that old adage, if you don't know the words, you can't really sing the tune. And by the way, that actually applies to people who sing. I know there are some schools of thought where the person has a hard time singing or something. They make sure he understands the words of what he's singing, and all of a sudden, magically, the person is able to sing the thing. Maybe not on tune, but all of a sudden they don't forget and stuff like that. It's really, really important. And I hate to belabor this point, but I've seen this happen so many times where someone will go through and they'll start taking up a study of something in this case, filmmaking or YouTube or videos or whatever, and they'll just blow past these words, and in an hour, a minute, a day, a week, a couple of weeks, a month or whatever, it gets too complex for them and they don't understand it. There's a lot of stuff when you're doing all this. There's all sorts of things. There are words I'm not going to throw at you right now having to do with that camera, having to do with this microphone, having to do with the recording of this, having to do with rendering it, having to do with uploading it, all the things you upload it for. If you don't understand those words and what they actually mean, they're just going to kill your mind. They are the mind killer, and I really suggest that you do not blow past them. Now, you may already think you know all these words. You may already think you know all this stuff, and you probably do, and that's probably why you're able to create videos or watch videos or do whatever it is you want to do, because you already do understand them. If you don't, there's probably a case where you need to really look up the words and the understandings and the meanings and the definitions of these things until they become second nature. Specifically when it comes to YouTube and making videos, it's critical. I know many people have just given up their YouTube ventures or even things they wanted to do in life, and a lot of it was because the words they didn't understand. Just consider it this way. You're going along and you're learning something and somebody throws a word at you, that's like dead stop. Like, I'm not going anywhere past this word and continuing until I find out what that word means. Now, a couple of cautions here. If you're going to go find out what a word means, don't go off and use some big, giant freaking dictionary or some big blah, 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 like, where you go in and you search on the internet for something like, I want to check up white balance. And all of a sudden you get these definitions. White balance is the triauricular composicable from the 13th, 14th quadrangle. Just get out of there. Don't do that, and don't kill yourself more, because now you got even more words. Just find someplace simple and someplace easy to look up these words, or ask somebody, me or other people. Don't be afraid to ask, what does this word mean? What does aperture mean? What does white balance mean? How do you do this? And I assure you, if you do that and you want to do that and you make sure you understand the words and the concepts and everything else of what you're studying, you'll do so much better. And hey, if you happen to be in school or college or whatever, and you happen to apply this to your school or college, and you do better because you start not passing over these words and everything else, send me a shout out and say, hey, thanks a lot, dude. There you go. Look up your words. Don't blow past them. You'll become a way better filmmaker, YouTuber, etc. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Fantastic.
She said fantastic. So this video is fantastic.
A+.
This video is A+.
Yoo-hoo.
This video is yoo-hoo. Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
This video is thumbs up.